The movie opens with a handsome young man doing his daily run when a woman appears next to him. She questions why she hasn't seen him lately, and though he seems confused with her sudden apparition, he brushes it off and invites her to have dinner with him. She denies it by saying she has a boyfriend, and he nonchalantly replies that when she breaks up with him, she can come looking for him. This self-assured man is Yi Hyun. He's a successful manager of a renowned sports agency and a flirt by nature. Yi loves to date and he's a romantic at heart. Though he hasn't found the one yet, he's relentless in his pursuit of the perfect woman for him. He has already dated many women, but none held his interest for long. That changes when he sees a woman wearing a pink coat at the train station and he can't take his eyes off her. The woman's name is Soo-young. She's pretty, and once upon a time, she was very popular with men too. That all changes when she meets and starts dating her boyfriend of 10 years. She loves her boyfriend, but she's frustrated that the relationship isn't going anywhere after so long. She wants to get married and have a family sometime soon, but her boyfriend never mentions marriage to her. To distract herself, she works hard. It's through her job that she meets the handsome and flirty Yi Hyun. Soo works at an advertising company and the face of their new product is a popular basketball player, Jin Chol, that is managed by Yi. In a twist of fate, Yi and Soo meet when they catch the same train to Busan and sit next to one another. Yi is immediately interested in Soo. He remembers she is the same woman he saw wearing the pink jacket at the station, and up close she's even more beautiful. At first, Soo doesn't pay attention to Yi. He is handsome, but she has a lot on her mind. First, she has recently found out that one of her closest friends is getting married after dating for a couple of months. To add salt to the wound, the man her friend is marrying is Soo's high school sweetheart. It makes her sad that she's going to see a man she used to love marrying her beautiful friend. She's also in a difficult situation at work because the basketball player that is the face of their ad is missing, and she needs to find him at any cost. Without him, they are going to lose a big deal. Her day had also started badly because someone hit her with a basketball in the middle of the street and she fell harshly on the ground, getting all her clothes dirty. Lastly, her relationship is awful. Her boyfriend barely cares about her anymore and things are stagnant. While she commiserates about her terrible luck in life while staring at nothing, Yi tries to catch her attention. It's only then that she notices him, which is a first for him. Women notice him all the time, no matter where he is. In turn, Soo observes the man and finds him lacking. Though he's handsome, she knows his type and calls him a flaky. She also notices that Yi has a basketball that he carries everywhere. Yi keeps flirting with Soo and even offers her a sandwich, which she begrudgingly accepts after much insistence. He also buys her a drink when she starts choking on the sandwich, something that Soo finds weird. She starts thinking he's a stalker, and when he asks her out, she decides to change her seat. Yi finds her funny and watches as she keeps changing seats on the train. Soo's boyfriend calls her to ask her something and she tries to tell him what happened to her that day, but he cuts her off. She gets sad again at his disregard and detachment, wondering what she did to make him act like that with her. They had been together for so long and he is everything to her. He's the only man she has been intimate with, and she has a lot of emotional attachment to him. While thinking about her failing relationship and trying not to cry about it, the train breaks. Soo freaks out because she has a meeting and she still needs to find the lost Jin Chol. Yi notices this and offers her a ride to Busan. Yi borrows a car from his brother and they drive to the city alone in the car. It's a scenic trip, and Soo relaxes more than when she was on the train. Yi thinks meeting Soo is fate, but she thinks it's only a coincidence. She doesn't believe in fate, and after 10 years in the same boring relationship, her opinion about love is jagged. She refuses to acknowledge the fact that her relationship isn't a good one. She thinks it's normal to spend so long with a person without marrying them. In turn, Yi's favorite hobby is to flirt and go out with women, no matter their looks. Despite being a womanizer, he only goes out with so many women because he wants to find the right one for him. When he learns about Soo's relationship and how long she's been dating the same man without getting married, he asks her to cheat on him. Soo is shocked by his audacity and tells him that his vision of intimacy is skewed, that he shouldn't think of intimacy without feelings as a good thing. She prefers to know and love the person, or at least have some feelings before sleeping with someone. Yi invites her to have dinner with him at this amazing restaurant he knows, but she cuts him off. After hours in the car together, they arrive at Jin Chol's family home. There's a funeral happening, and they find out that Jin Chol's grandfather has passed away. That's why he disappeared out of the blue. They stay at the funeral to pay their respects and Soo gets emotional. Seeing the family crying reminds her of her father's passing, and she starts quietly crying. Yi wonders why she's crying and she explains that her father passed away a long time ago, and the funeral triggered her memories. They continue on their way to Busan, bantering back and forward the whole time. When they arrive at Soo's destination, Soo sarcastically wishes him a life full of women and happiness before she leaves. Yi watches her go and notices that she left her phone in his car. It's only a matter of time before she realizes. Soo wants the ground to swallow her when she notices her phone isn't with her. She begrudgingly goes back to the car. Yi saves his number on the phone before handing it to her. Once again, he unabashedly flirts with her and tells her that if she wants to cheat with him, she should give him a call. They go their separate ways after that. Sue has an important meeting and she has to be attentive and focused. If the meeting doesn't go well, her company won't have an important client and it will be her fault. With so many things wrong in her life, her job is at least something she can control. As Yi is going after Jin Chul, he realizes he and Sue switched bags, and the bag with her presentation is in the car with him. He turns around without thinking twice and comes to her rescue. Sue was already failing in the presentation, but Yi arrives and helps her out using her material. Then, he leaves for good. Sue thinks his gesture was chevalier and it surprises her. The man is such a womanizer that she would have never thought he would do something so selfless. The presentation goes well, but she still needs to find Jin Chul or there will be no deal. Again, she has to resort to Yi because she knows he's the one managing Jin Chul and probably knows where he is. She decides to go to the restaurant he had mentioned before in hopes of finding him. When she enters the family restaurant, a man passes by her accompanied by a woman. It's Jin Chul, but Sue doesn't recognize him. She starts eating as she waits for Yi, and luckily for her, he appears. As soon as he sees her, he knows she needs something from him. Unbeknownst to Sue, the family restaurant belongs to Yi's aunt. Yi introduces her as his girlfriend. Sue learns that he dated a lot of women and she's not the first to be brought to that restaurant. She gets mad at him for introducing her to his family as if they were together, but he tells her not to worry because he lost interest in sleeping with her. This gives Sue pause and she defensively asks why. Yi starts laughing at her. She's trying so hard to not appear interested in him when he can see clearly as day that she is. Sue is ready to leave him for good to go back home when he receives a message. The message informs him that Jin Chul was seen close by and he goes after him. Sue overhears and goes after Yi. She thinks he's going to be her best bet in finding Jin Chul. They move on to a high school, the same school where Yi studied and Jin graduated recently. Yi wonders about Jin and his former coach tells him to give Jin time. Yi wants to sell him to the NBA, a one-time opportunity that he doesn't want Jin to lose. But Jin isn't sure about going to another country. He's having doubts about it. The coach advises Yi to wait for Jin to make up his mind. Yi doesn't want Jin to think about anything. He wants him to go to the NBA no matter what. They go to a temple next, but Jin isn't there either. Since they are already there, Yi takes Sue around the temple to see the beautiful view of the sea. Sue chuckles and says that she's jealous of Jin for being able to give up on his dreams so easily. Yi thinks he's being stupid for giving up on his dreams for a girl. Sue doesn't think it is. She knows better than anyone what it is like to give up everything, even yourself, for the person she loves. Yi tells her that there's no reason to be hung up on a girl when there's the possibility of love everywhere. Sue starts wondering what happened to Yi to make him think like that. She doesn't need to wander far because while they are talking, a pretty woman appears. She and Yi know each other, and he fumbles while talking to her. Sue finds it funny and tries to hide her smile. A self-assured womanizer fumbling to talk to a woman is very interesting to her. Turns out, the woman is Yi's ex-girlfriend, his high school sweetheart. He doesn't tell her that, so Sue thinks the woman is only one of his former lovers. Yi is still hung up on his ex, but the woman is married with a child now, so there's no hope for him. They go sightseeing around the town, and Sue comments on the woman's strange reaction to her. She kept glaring at Sue as if she was doing something wrong. Sue thinks it was funny. They go to a park and Yi starts throwing coins in a circle in the middle of a lake. Sue is impressed by his ability to throw. What she doesn't notice is that he throws like a basketball player. They have a lot of fun at the park until it starts raining. They have to quickly find a place to hide, and Sue complains about the cold and that her feet are hurting. Yi quickly lends her his coat like a gentleman and takes her heels off to massage her sore feet. As he moves her feet around, massaging her calf and leg, Sue can't stop staring at him. She doesn't remember the last time someone took care of her like that, much less a man. Yi is truly a gentleman, and very caring despite being a womanizer. He touches her as if she would break if he put too much pressure. When he asks how she is, even her voice changes tone. She doesn't speak harshly or sarcastically. She sweetly replies that she's fine, without taking her eyes off him. It stops raining. Yi asks if Sue is going to the train station, but she surprises him by taking up on his offer of cheating on her boyfriend with him. She knows it's wrong, but spending time with Yi, the way he took care of her, makes her realize that her boyfriend hasn't done the same in ages. She's feeling frustrated and Yi is an attractive man willing to do whatever she wants. Yi immediately accepts her proposition. They go to a grocery store to buy some beers and then go to a hotel. Sue dons the beers to try to expel her nervousness and anxiety. She wants to do everything hurriedly before she loses her courage, but Yi wants to take it slow. He wants to appreciate their time together, to appreciate her. It's been a while since he has been so interested in a woman like he's with Sue. She's funny, determined, fierce, and speaks her mind without fear. She's also delicate and sweet when she wants to be. It's the perfect combination for him, so he wants to enjoy it. Sue is skittish and nervous, so he tries to distract her by asking why she changed her mind. She tells him that she thinks he's a nice guy. It's surprising for him that she thinks that. After all, she complained about him the whole way to Busan. Still, Sue thinks he's the kind of man that can be loyal to the woman he loves. He takes care of himself and he isn't afraid of helping others. All characteristics that she admires. No one has ever said that to him. People usually see him as easygoing or a womanizer, and he hides his feelings behind this Casanova facade. Sue saw through his mask. She saw the person underneath the flirty remarks and casual personality. Yi doesn't know how to act with her anymore. Their one-night stand was supposed to be quick and fun, not filled with feelings and truths he'd rather not face. He stops her advances and tells her that maybe what they are doing is not right. Sue gets upset and embarrassed because she thinks he's playing her. Underneath it all, she feels rejected, again. Not even a womanizer wanted to sleep with her, and that hurts more deeply than she's willing to admit. She used to be a pretty popular woman back in the day. Now she's in a failing relationship. Her high school sweetheart is marrying her friend, and she has feelings for Yi. Sue storms out of the hotel with Yi running desperately after her. She doesn't want to hear his excuses and berates herself for trying to cheat. Yi finally reaches her and tells her that she misunderstood the whole situation. He wasn't rejecting her. He only thought that sleeping with her like that wasn't right. He thinks she's beautiful, both outside and inside, and that she deserves better than a nervous one-night stand with him. Sue is flattered and can barely stop smiling after his declaration. Before they move forward with anything, Yi wants to be honest with her. He takes her to his former high school, and they have dinner at the basketball court. Sue drinks more and starts venting about her relationship with him. She complains that after 10 years she hasn't married, but her friend marries after 2 months. To her ex-boyfriend no less. She admits that it hurts, mainly because she feels like a fool for spending so long with the same person for nothing. At the same time, she spent so long with him that now she's afraid of breaking up with him. There are a lot of memories and good moments from their 10 years together. Realizing that she's getting sad and almost crying, Yi asks Sue to play basketball with him. They have a great time together, laughing and making fun of each other until they have to quickly leave. After they run away from the court not to be caught by the security guard, Yi kisses Sue. At first, she's hesitant, but soon she kisses him back. They get intimate at the school gym and sleep together. The following morning, while Yi is taking a shower in the locker rooms, a group of old ladies arrives. With them is Yi's ex-girlfriend, Bo Kyun. She recognizes Sue, but Sue is static. She doesn't know what to say or do. She tries to pretend the man's jacket the ladies find is hers, but then Yi comes running from the showers wearing only a towel. Sue runs after him, not knowing whether to laugh or cry at the situation. Later on, at the train station, they don't want to say goodbye. Sue is going to go back to her life, to her inattentive boyfriend and bad relationship. After remembering what it is like to date a new person, to feel the butterflies in her stomach that only a new relationship brings, it's hard to go back to reality. In turn, Yi doesn't want to let her go either. He had a great time with her, filled with fun and adventure, and it had been a long time since he felt so connected to someone. He thinks about asking her to stay, to promise her the world and his heart, but he's confused too. Sue doesn't know that, but Yi still had feelings for his first girlfriend. Their breakup wasn't easy because he had to choose between his career as a player and their relationship. He chose the career. Watching her with her son, after years separated, hurts. They could have been together, and maybe the child would have been his. It wasn't meant to be, though. At the same time, spending time with Sue was a whirlwind of feelings. He has never felt like that, not even with Bo Kyun. She made him feel more alive than he had in ages. He also knows that Sue needs to figure out her relationship with her boyfriend before they do anything. There are a lot of feelings and memories involved, and she has to decide if she wants to move forward or break things. They say goodbye to each other and Sue leaves without looking back. Yi watches her go with a sad smile on his face. On the train, Sue starts crying as she remembers the time they spent together, and how hard she fell for the strange man. Before he leaves the train station, Yi receives a surprise. Jin Chul finally reappears. With no preamble, he tells Yi that he doesn't want to go to the US. He doesn't want to leave the girl he loves behind, no matter if he's putting his career in jeopardy. He wants to be with her, and if it's meant to be, in the future he can go to the NBA. Yi can't believe Jin is throwing away everything for his high school sweetheart, but there's nothing he can say to convince him to go. This situation reminds him of his time playing, and how he lost everything because of a lesion. He had chosen to give up on his relationship, and in the end, he had neither. Sue goes back to work, but things are not the same for her. She tries talking to her boyfriend, but he brushes her off again. Feeling lonely and sad, she starts questioning if she did the right thing by not staying with Yi. She didn't even give her number to him so he could call her. Questioning all her life choices, Sue comes to a decision. He isn't having a great time either. With Jin's choice, all the plans he made for his company go down the drain. He leaves his company in a rush after quitting, because his boss wanted him to make Jin stay no matter what. When Jin finds out that he quit, he goes after Yi and decides to sign a contract with him so he can continue to be his manager. Yi accepts it. As for Sue, she asks to meet with her boyfriend, and they finally talk. Sue decided to break things off because she knew she couldn't go back to the way things were, especially not after cheating and falling for another man. Her boyfriend doesn't try to fight her decision. He quietly accepts it. She was sad and a bit depressed over it, but she knew it was the right thing to do. She tells her friends, and they are shocked that she finally did something about her failing relationship. Unbeknownst to her, Yi enters the same cafe she's at and sits right behind her to eavesdrop on her conversation. Her friends wonder about her mysterious guy, asking if she's still hung up on him. Sue is still thinking about him, but she doesn't want to admit it. She goes back to her habit of hiding her feelings and pretending everything is all right. Ye's heart breaks when he hears her telling her friends that it was a one-time thing and it wasn't serious. He was looking forward to showing up and confessing his feelings for her. Sue keeps going by saying that she barely remembers him and that he meant nothing to her. As soon as he hears that coming out of her mouth, Yi puts his mask of Playboy womanizer back in place. When Sue leaves the cafe, she sees him standing on the crosswalk and approaches him to talk. She's hopeful when she sees him again so unexpectedly because now that she's single, they can try and be together. Of course, she has no idea that he overheard everything she told her friends about him. Yi acts cold and aloof as if he doesn't care about her at all. He tells her that she should forget about him and their day together, because that was all it was. A day. Sue's eyes start to fill with tears as soon as the words leave his mouth. She can't believe that's happening to her, not after they had such a good time together. She's confused by his behavior, but then she thinks he probably was like that for real, and he just pretended not to be to sleep with her. When Sue goes back to her office after Yi left her, she finds out that Jin, the player she went after, signed with their company. It was Yi's doing. As soon as Jin signed the contract with him, he went to Sue's work to give them Jin's contract to work on their ad. He just wanted to help Sue. His action confuses her even more, especially after his harsh words only hours before. She goes out to get drunk, not knowing that Yi is on the other side of town doing the same. Sue calls her best friend to go there to meet her, and when she arrives, Sue admits that she made a mess of things because she was afraid of getting hurt again. She starts crying nonstop as she thinks about Yi and how much she likes him. For the first time in years, she was full of expectations and hope, and she messed it all up. Weeks go by, and they move on with their lives. Yi becomes CEO of his own management company, and it's going well, so well that he appears in a magazine. Sue's secretary compliments him and calls him her boyfriend, something that confuses Sue. The secretary explains that she took a peek at the note he left her all those weeks ago, and Sue finally understands that she missed some part of the puzzle. She runs back to her office and finds the envelope with Jin's contract, and inside, there's a note from Yi. After reading it, she desperately runs to go after him. She wants to take the train to Busan to try and meet him again, but she ends up missing it. Sue almost cries when she realizes that there is no point. She thinks she would have to wait to see him again, but as she turns around to leave the station, though, Yi is just coming out of the elevator. They stare at each other for a moment, not knowing what to say after so long. Sue finally finds the courage to say what she has wanted to since she met him. She confesses that she was lying back at the cafe and that she was thinking about sleeping with him that day. Yi chuckles and runs at her. They kiss in the middle of the train station, and a new chapter of their life together begins. In the end, it shows that the person who threw a basketball and hit Sue on the head at the beginning was none other than Yi.